who needed these feuds to get physical, and they have been getting physical. So at least we got that. Let's wrap it up here with Raw notes. Here we got Sami Zayn continuing his Gunther continuing his mind games with Sami Zayn. Gunther basically just saying, "Hey, I'm already in Sami's head. He's not going to beat me. Like, he's too emotional." You saw what he did last week in a backstage segment. Sami Zayn has a match with Bronson Reed, and Gunther comes out to watch, and that takes Sami Zayn's attention away from Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed lands the splash off the top rope, which was crazy. I thought that was a crazy splash, like how Sami took it, and I was just like, damn. Beautiful. What do you guys think about that continuation of that story where Sami's kind of needing Chad Gable's advice and Gunther playing these mind games?
Let's get Chad in that match. Let's make it a triple threat.
What we really need to ask is, is he just done with Alpha Academy now? Because I'm watching him give this advice. I'm watching him give this advice to Sami Zayn. I'm like, yo, this is great. This is great advice. So if this is such great advice, why the hell is this advice not impacting your stable right here? Especially with your youngest student and Maxine, kind of struggling lately.
Yeah. Triple H says long-term booking.
Yeah.
Maybe that leads to the Alpha Academy turning on Chad Gable. Maybe that's what it is.
They're on NXT trying to get a NXT title match, and they're not doing too good. You don't see Chad there, but just continuing on from this topic from last week, I mean, it almost seems as though like he should be in this match now as a triple threat. I mean, when they
missed
announced the gauntlet match, yeah, exactly, it was a missed opportunity. Yeah, because when the gauntlet match was announced, I think we all had predicted that, like, yeah, those two are going to be the last two. Because because they make the most sense with both of them being underdog characters. So, I mean, now you got one underdog helping the other underdog, and honestly, Chad Gable's story with Gunther was more personal because his family was involved and they were at ringside.
Is Sami Zayn joining the Alpha Academy?
No.
That is the question. He's getting all this tutelage. He's getting all this help.
If anything, could we see a heel turn from Chad? Could we see a new side?
That would be something.
Like he screws Sami because he wants to be the one to do it.
Yeah, and then he'll screw Alpha Academy because he doesn't feel like.
I don't think so. He needs lackeys. I think I would like Chad Gable with those.
You can always get new lackeys.
No,
I'm just saying.
Otis as his powerhouse, Tozawa as his guy, kind of his X-Pac, and then have Maxine Dupree be like a Tory and just be a damsel in distress and just do all this dumb shit. She's not she can get over that way. Build heat. She's getting killed in the ring anyway. Otis and Tozawa are kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit behind him.
Hey, they were in that tag team qualifier, even though they lost.
Oh, I'm fine with that. But I'm just like, that's not the natural Alpha Academy though. That's not. You know what I mean? So it's like, in that retrospect, if we're gonna do something with Chad Gable going forward, turn him heel. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But yeah, we'll continue to get mind games between Gunther and Sami. We'll see what happens next week because obviously it's leading up to the go home show on Raw. We have Candice LeRae cheating again to beat Ivy Nile. They're continuing that storyline of Indy Hartwell kind of not knowing what side to be on in that situation. But Candice LeRae kind of just continuing to be the poison pixie that we saw in NXT. Kind of trying to build that up a little bit here. I don't like how they're doing it because it's like I feel like she should be more vicious, and I don't feel like it's coming across on TV that way. I just don't feel like it's being as effective as it needed to be.
Hey, she talked about Maxine's dead brother. That's pretty serious.
That's so. We don't need that.
I get what you mean though, because it was like
we don't need that on this level.
No,
there's not enough heat for that. There's not enough heat for that. Like.
I don't know. I mean, I like, seeing her get more of a spotlight because it's crazy to think, a lot of people don't know that she's been doing this way longer than she's been in WWE. Mm-hmm. So she actually is a really good wrestler. I guess maybe they're just trying to play more into her heel persona. I don't know what's going to come of this. If we're going to get a pre-show match or something, or if this is something that's going to lead to something further down, who knows? But I don't know. I'm glad that they're finally giving Candice LeRae like a kind of a shot to like show what she can do, whether it's a character change or she's got to align herself with new people, because obviously Indy has a problem with what she's doing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they go forward with it.
So I like the fact that they're trying at least attempting to put a spotlight on Candice LeRae. Like Lewis said, she's been doing this for such a long time. Being on the independents, fighting men. I think she has a famous match from Lucha Underground that diehard wrestling fans still talk about. So I like the fact that she's getting the spotlight, but this probably isn't the best way to go about it. I mean, they had when they started this story. I mean, they had a true intent. They were pretty much just saying, let's take the BS from social media with Maxine. Let's try to make a good old underdog story out of it, and it's not coming across that way. I mean, I actually think this storyline is actually starting now to hurt Maxine more than what they were trying to do, because now it's just like we as the fans, we think that she sucks, and now you guys want us to clearly see that she sucks through Candice LeRae. So you pretty much expressing our feelings towards Maxine through Candice LeRae in a story. And while I like that the spotlight's on Candice, not really the best way to go about it.
I like it. If this is just me booking, if her, Natalya, maybe Shayna Baszler team up and they just form this group that just beats up on the inexperienced stars, and Indy Hartwell turns around and tries to lead that group, Ivy Nile, in some capacity, if that happens and they build towards that, I'm fine with that. You also get a women's tag team out of it that I feel like it will be better between Natalya and Candice LeRae as the veterans. Maybe that's just me booking it long term and just looking at it from that aspect of how everyone can benefit, because now you have a story. You have the veterans versus the young stars coming into the Raw. So I feel like that can be something that can be exploited down the line. I feel like that's an idea.
Okay, so you said Natalya, right?
Yeah, the boat.
Which I watched. So I watched NXT earlier. She was on NXT and she responded to an open challenge. And I swear to you guys, it's the most over she's been in like 10 years.
Really?
Yeah. Like when her music played, the crowd erupted. And with how as awkward as she sounds when she's cutting her promos, they were actually cheering for her in between sentences. So NXT is the cure-all for everybody. If she can go down there and get over like that.
It's also not her first time down in NXT.
I know it's not her first time.
I keep telling you guys.
She's over there. So she can be a top talent over there easily if she wanted
I keep telling y'all that match with Rhea Ripley showed that she still has it. Okay?
What's the it? What is the it?
We cannot forget about that. Like, there is something there that WWE has not been able to tap to. And let's be honest, she has been underneath Vince McMahon's regime. Okay? So that's all I'm saying about that. Like, this can be something that's happening. And again, my idea of the veterans going after the young guns, I would like that. We got another impressive match between Ricochet and JD McDonough.
Very good match.
I was gonna bring up this match because that had some highlights.
Like, I just feel like Ricochet's hitting his stride, and maybe this is just a new revitalized push underneath Triple H post WrestleMania. Like, Ricochet is going to be highlighted on the show more, but JD McDonough, in the same fact, both of those guys just mesh well together. Yeah, just mesh well together. And they're putting on good matches week to week. What do you guys think about that? And Lewis, you were alluding to it, that you wanted to talk about this match.
Yeah, just Ricochet finally racking up the wins. Hopefully this leads to not just another like US title or something like that. Hopefully, I've always been one that I've been a fan of Ricochet and his athleticism. His promo work could have used some work, honestly.
What they're trying to work on with the backstage segments, I feel like those are better rather than being live.
Yeah, it was. At least the last one was for sure.
That's holding him back. Literally, that's one thing. Just his promos. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I like Ricochet, and I like what he's done. I liked him since Lucha Underground, Prince Puma. I love that whole character, like how he was young and stuff like that. And you hear about the stuff with him and Ospreay in New Japan and stuff like that, and these. But it's just like, what's the ceiling for him? Like, what's a guy? Yeah. Rey Mysterio is obviously the cruiserweight that we've seen elevate to that high status, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think of him like Ricochet, kind of like Evan Bourne or Mustafa Ali when he first came in. Like, what's the ceiling for those guys other than mid-card? I don't know if he can get into that main event tier with his style and size. And even in this day and age where it's more progressive, like we see guys like AJ Styles, guys of that nature who are smaller in stature get over, but I just don't know for Ricochet. I like him a lot. I like his in-ring work. He's flawless in the ring, but it's just like, what's going to be the thing that gets him to that next level? I don't know.
Yeah. Because, I mean, do we really see him win a world title right now? I don't.
I would like for him to get a shot. That would have been dope.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it'd be those type of situations. Yeah.
Yeah. He could definitely be a challenger or whatever if he's like getting this many wins.
What we need is Samantha Irvin to turn heel. That's what we need.
Well, I was also going to bring that up too. I was like, we've never seen Ricochet heel in WWE, so it's like, what would that look like? Would that be a better position for him? Would he be
He needs Samantha.
If he's going to character,
I don't think so. Because his promos are already suffering, and obviously, if he's going to be a good heel. That's a huge component of it, and because pretty much all his offense are highlights are all.
He can heal it up though. He can heal up. He can be a heel high flyer. So we need that. We've seen it with Pac. We've seen it with Pac.
Now was he a heel in Lucha Underground as Prince Puma?
No, he was a face.
Okay. He was a face there. Okay.
But just in general, I just feel I don't know, Samantha Irvin promo package or whatever it is, she can be the sexy valet, putting over her man, being cocky for him, and him just going out there and performing. Like, I would love to see that. I would love to see that. But with Ricochet and JD McDonough, it's just like those guys are kind of undersized. I don't know if they're ever going to bring back the cruiserweight title. I'm not sure they're going to do that. But
I don't think they need to. Maybe it could benefit, but
in general, I feel like those guys are putting on great work and somehow need to be rewarded for that, because those guys are carrying a spot on the card for the past couple of weeks as the opening match or the opening segment or a mid-card match. But it keeps the match is so good that it's like we're all interested in it. So it's like. Yeah. I would love to see those guys get rewarded somehow. We have the New Day and DIY picking up the win over the New Day, which is kind of the right move in my opinion. I think continuing to build momentum for DIY heading into WrestleMania. But what do you guys think about that match? It was okay. I didn't think it was anything. I thought it could have been better. I thought it would have been better, but it was what it was.
Yeah, it was what it was. You're pretty straightforward. The tag team match. I will say this much though: DIY is slowly starting to become might be a pick for this ladder match now. I am gonna give a little preview for next week's show, but I am leaning towards DIY right now. I mean, if you look at the circumstances of it being a six team ladder match. And if you're looking to get the titles off of Judgment Day and hopefully lead towards a tag team title split, when you look at all the teams that are there, story wise, R-Truth and Miz make the most sense. But if we're talking about splitting the tag team titles, actually having a legit tag team, kind of kick that off, it should be DIY. I mean, New Day, they've been established. They already have one of the longest tag team title reigns of all time. So as far as tag team wrestling goes, there's nothing else for the New Day to accomplish. So I mentioned R-Truth and Miz. I already mentioned DIY. Oh, the other two spots are going to be filled this Friday tomorrow. So, So the tag team match was what it was, and then it turned into your typical WrestleMania build with all the teams coming out and brawling. Probably going to get something like that on Raw this coming Monday. But it was a good match for what it was.
Yeah, I like the match. It was okay. I feel like the right team won. I don't know what transition the New Day is going to go into at this point, but we'll see what happens with both these teams, and especially DIY leading into WrestleMania. We had Andrade defeating Giovanni Vinci in a nice match, continuing to build wins for Andrade, the returning Andrade. I'm just wondering what direction they're going to go with him as well, because we have all this Legado del Fantasma, we have the LWO, and this flirting with the Judgment Day. I'm just like, there's so many people involved in which direction he can go, and I'm wondering what way he's going to go. That's all I'm wondering about Andrade with his return and stuff like that. And obviously Zelina Vega is a part of the LWO. She's married to Aleister Black. I don't know what situation that plays in her potentially managing Andrade again, which I thought would have been dope. But I don't know what they're going to do with Andrade. He's hot. He's still coming back. He's still good.
See, I almost feel like they should have waited until after WrestleMania to bring back Andrade, because he's starting, because you're building towards WrestleMania. Your priority has to be on building towards WrestleMania. So in the process, some guys end up getting lost in the shuffle. Some guys that shouldn't be getting lost in the shuffle, because you're talking about a guy like Andrade, who obviously has the history of being there before. Then he went to AEW, and even before NXT, you know, he has the Lucha Libre heritage and everything. So he's definitely a guy that you wouldn't want to be lost in the shuffle. So I almost felt like they should have just held off on him until after WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I just had an idea that maybe he's crazy, but maybe he can be the guy that defeats Gunther somehow. That would be the nice way to put a star on Andrade, of him coming back and beating Gunther. We saw the impressive matches that he had in NXT with Robert Roode,
Johnny Gargano. All his matches with Gargano are 5 stars.
So we saw that aspect of Andrade and what he was able to do with NXT in this style of presentation. Now, him versus Gunther, to me, in my eyes, if Sammy doesn't win at WrestleMania, you need to create a star. You need to put something on his back to project him. Who's a better person right now in that mid-card to have matches with everybody? Probably Andrade. His style, his flair, his charisma, I feel like that's a guy that would be a nice option to do that with. I mean, if it's not going to be Chad Gable. But Andrade, he needs something. And I feel like they should not waste this main event, this main roster run with him. They should not do that. He should be as impactful as anybody on the card, because he's that impressive. We've seen it. We've seen how hard-hitting he is. We see how good he is in the ring. We see how charismatic he is. Do not waste this guy. Figure out something to do with him. He cannot just be lost in the shuffle. I don't want him to get lost in the shuffle with the LWO, Legado del Fantasma angle. I don't want him getting lost on Raw, just being in senseless tag teams or anything like that. Do something with Andrade, man, because he's that good. He's that good. We also got Jey Uso defeating Nakamura to end the night. Nakamura kind of just another guy lost in the shuffle on this. Jey Uso, Jimmy, and Solo basically continuing to be a thorn in his side. It is interesting because people were kind of alluding to the pre-promo towards the match with Cody and Seth and Jay. Was Cody there, or was it just Jay? No, Seth was saying something isn't right, something's going on. And people were kind of alluding to, some people were saying that Seth looks like he's going to turn heel, or like it's not coming off as genuine that he cares and stuff like that. But he was out there post-brawl to help Jay. So I'm like, I don't know what that's happening. But what do you guys think about that and what Jay and Jimmy and that kind of feud is going on with?
Real quick, I feel I don't know. It's like, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Brian, you go. I just lost my train of thought.
All right, okay. So as far as Jay and Jimmy goes, well, I feel last week's kind of promo duel between them kind of like set in stone for like how this is going to go moving forward. I think they probably think that for this story because it's brother against brother, kind of sells itself. I'm just looking forward to that promo package they throw together for this match because they have so much. I mean, so much stuff that they can go back to. We're talking about photos from when they were born. You talk about FCW days when they first came, their debut when they had the face paint and everything. There's so much history to tell between these two. So I'm looking forward to that. And when you talk about Nakamura, I mean, he's another guy where it's like it's so unfortunate he's getting lost in the shuffle, but it's like when you
they should have put the title on him.
Like, building WrestleMania. Even if your roster is that, and when your roster is that deep, and you need to prioritize certain people going into your biggest show, some guys end up getting.
Even if it was for 2-3 months, what was that? September he was fighting Extreme Rules or whatever it was.
Yeah,
they had the Great Muta in the crowd. I'm like, this is perfect. Just let him win the title, even if it's for a couple months. He could have dropped it at the Rumble. He could have still got this build up. Like, come on. Oh man,
just certain guys like bro, and you it's like it makes you look at the roster and it's like it's a good problem to have, but it's like certain guys you just don't want that happening to.
You want to know what? They need another brand. That's what it is. They need another brand. Make
for
another
what?
AEW has 5 shows. Come on.
There's no more nights of television, man. That they can.
There is.
They already got Monday and Friday.
Move all those guys to NXT. NXT can be a 3-hour show.
So when Raw goes to Netflix. Actually, never mind, because that's still going to be on Mondays, so never mind.
Oh man,
put it on Netflix. Everybody will watch it.
And then you got NXT on Tuesday.
Nah, it's a lot. But it's just like those guys.
And they're not going to put a show on Wednesday night because you already know the fucking people at AEW are going to start bitching and complaining about it. So I mean, but Ring of Honor is a different story on Thursday. They can do something on Thursdays. Thursdays, you're going up against Ring of Honor and Impact, which means you're not really going up against
Thursday night Shotgun. Is that what they're going to call it?
Ring of Honor and Impact. That means you're not going up against anybody. So all right.
Except for Athena.
I saw something that TNA, like some people walked out or some people left there, but I'm not sure. But
because of Scott D'Amore.
The new takeover or something. I saw something. I didn't read it, but something's happening with TNA. But let's get into our last segment here. Jade Cargill to debut on SmackDown finally.
Too late.
Randomly before WrestleMania, a week out. I don't know who she's facing. They didn't say anything like that. They just said she's going to debut. Now, is this going to be against a jobber or somebody worth of value on the roster that she's going to tangle with? Obviously, it's somebody that I would think that would be somebody that she was training with to build up to this. But yeah, I'm excited for her to actually be in the ring and be on SmackDown. She's officially on SmackDown. We actually got the confirmation on that. But it's just like, who is she going to be fighting? They haven't released any details or anything on it.
Did they say she was going to have a match, or did she say she was just going to appear for her first appearance as an official SmackDown superstar? Did they say she was going to have a match?
I don't remember, honestly.
She should wrestle. Yeah. Get it out the way. No. If she's not going to be at WrestleMania, you're already showing her on TV.
We don't know that actually.
Yeah.
There are people alluding to her being added into this whole Damage Control versus Naomi and Bianca situation now.
I'm just gonna say this in that regard because I thought about it. I thought it over. There's no way Damage Control can hurt Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair. There's no way.
Yes.
There's no way.
I mean, realistically, you could go 2-on-3 with just Bianca and Jade, and I don't think it'd be enough.
I'm just like, there's no way they're beating them. There's no way. Those two powerhouses together.
Yeah, that's why I said Jade and Bianca should be a tag team. That's like a
2-man power trip.
Yeah,
that's what it should be.
That's a power move right there. They would run the whole division like easily.
Yeah, that would be dope long term. But I'm just like right now, I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work.
I just think with Jade like honestly, at this point, like why are you announcing her the week before Mania? I would have just saved her debut for post
The
Mania.
night before Mania.
Either have her debut at Mania and help Bailey win, or help the post beatdown, whatever's going on, or just have her roll out after that. But it's just like, this is a weird timing.
Yeah,
unless she I don't know, but
I wouldn't see her teaming up with Bailey just because it's just, I don't know.
Is it
Bailey's kind of like on her own turn type thing right now? So
is it teaming up with Bailey, or is it just taking out Damage Control?
Yeah, because
I feel like that's the role it should be. Like,
yeah, because they've already teased the interaction with her and EO and Damage Control, so they did already tease that on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. What if she's training with EO Sky all this time? Because EO really hasn't been wrestling. I can't remember the last time she defended the title. But if she's training with EO and that kind of sets up some type of program, that will be interesting. Two different styles of fights, styles of a fighter, high flyer versus a powerhouse, which would be interesting. But it's just like, I'm just interested to see what they do with her. So her debuting on SmackDown is going to be interesting, especially at this time of the year where it is random, but does create buzz. So I hope that she does well and it goes somewhere. I'm wondering where.
When have we ever heard of a debut happening so close to WrestleMania?
That's why I'm saying I don't think she's wrestling, because it's so close to Mania. Why? So if you're planning on having her at WrestleMania, then in this case, then you would say, common sense would say, save the in-ring debut for then. Mm-hmm. But then why even book it if she's not going to be involved at WrestleMania?
There's a lot of stuff going on, because it's just like you have the whole angle where Bianca's really not trusting Bailey and not wanting to help her. What she is justified in doing. Yeah. And then you got Naomi kind of like siding with Bailey, like, hey, she shouldn't be getting beat up. She shouldn't be getting jumped. We should help her. So I'm just wondering, I'm pretty sure this is going to lead to somehow Bianca turning heel, even though I've heard it in reports that she said that she doesn't want to turn heel and she wants to continue to be a role model, which is understandable, but it's just like, she needs to turn heel. Like, there needs to be something. There needs to be something.
Yo, Bianca, come on, Bianca. Do you not remember your time in NXT when you started out as a heel? You actually did a hell of a job to a point where I thought that character's peak was going to be when she was a heel. I couldn't picture at the time when she was in NXT how this character could translate into a babyface. So that's how good she was doing. That's how good she was doing it. So it's like, now you don't want to go back. You got to go back to your roots at least once.
You got it. Especially if they do something where it's a 2-woman power trip, and they, as I said before, they should have joined the Hurt Business as heels and then got the tag team division, and then BFAB, you don't have to lose her. She can be the manager of them, helping them and cheating for them, these two powerhouses that don't need it. And they can just run Ruckshaw, beating up everybody, and then that can lead off to a feud where Jade and Bobby side off with each other, and Montez and Bianca side off with each other. And then you have a feud right there, and that kind of translates guys into different ways. But that's just me long-term booking. But as I said, they should have did some type of 2-woman power trip. That would have been dope. That would be dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to continue going into WrestleMania. We're going to be making our picks next week, heading into WrestleMania. So that's going to be interesting. It feels like forever since we did picks, right? The Elimination Chamber was a little while ago. So we're getting back to our picks. WrestleMania. It's going to be interesting. We got a lot of matches on the card, and I think there's only 10 matches on the card total. They're going to add some pre-show stuff, obviously, but it's just like a lot of these matches are going to get time at WrestleMania. So I'm hoping that they really do that well.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's again. I think I've mentioned this for a couple of weeks right now. I mean, talking about how deep the roster is, especially on the women's side. Again, once the women's title matches were announced, you looked at the rest of their deep women's roster, and you're like, "What are we gonna do with the rest of these women? I mean, we gotta find stuff for them." And I think that's the reason why they're putting Bianca back with Damage Control, because it's just like, well, we can't keep Bianca off the card. I mean, it's WrestleMania. I mean, she's one of our.
Is she on the
card? She wasn't on the card. She wasn't before this. She wasn't on the card. They hadn't anything anything planned.
That's what I'm like. I'm wondering what they're going to do. The tag titles, we don't know what's happening with them as well. So it's like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Bianca and Naomi versus the Kabuki Warriors in some capacity. Who else are they going to face?
I just kind of want Naomi to kind of do her own thing. Like, I finally just
they have her looking like a chump right now, which I don't like.
I know. Yeah.
I understand the beatdowns, which is fine and cool and stuff like that, but it's like she should be a little bit more.
I know it's almost like they picked up right where they left off with her when before she left, and it's like she pulled a Cody Rhodes and a Drew McIntyre. She went somewhere else, got hot, became the top woman over there at TNA. And she became a better all around performer, both in
that's
ring
my
on
thing,
the mic.
because it's like
better.
She's better. She's better in the ring. She's better in the ring. She worked on her skills, so it's like reward that. I don't like her losing to Tiffany Stratton and stuff like that. I don't like that. It's like,
see, I was fine with that.
At least have her cheat to
win.
At least have her cheat to win. That's my thing. To just lose clean like that, no. But shit, man. We'll see what happens with WrestleMania picks and the go home show for Raw, especially, and what happens on SmackDown this week. It's going to be interesting. But thank you guys for joining us. Until next time.